Right, sir, now I'm going to advise you of certain rights that you're entitled to in this case. You have the right to a public and a speedy trial by jury. If you request a speedy trial, I'll set it within trial within 70 days of today's date. Obviously, you're charged with a felony, so your case would automatically be set for a jury trial. Do you understand that right, sir? Sir, you have the right to confront and cross-examine any witness the state calls to testify against you in open court. Do you understand that right, sir? You also have the right to require witnesses to be present at any hearing or trial to testify on your behalf, and at your request, the court clerk will issue subpoenas ordering your witnesses to appear. Do you understand that right, sir?
Yes, sir.
You are presumed innocent until the state of Indiana proves your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
You have the right to remain silent. You cannot be compelled to testify against yourself at any hearing or trial. However, anything you say or do in open court can be used against you by the state of Indiana. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
You have, obviously, you have the right to have a trial and to be found guilty. If you are found guilty, you have the right to appeal your conviction to the Indiana Court of Appeals, the Indiana Supreme Court, or possibly the United States Supreme Court. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You have the right to be represented by an attorney at all stages of the case. If you cannot afford an attorney now or at any later time, the court will appoint one for you. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you intend to hire your own attorney, sir, you need to make sure that you have that done within 20 days of today's, within 10 days of today's date, 20 days of today's date. There are certain deadlines that are available to you that could be lost if you fail to hire that counsel in a timely and prompt fashion. If you're now on parole, probation, or under a withheld or a suspended sentence, or out on bond for another offense, a guilty plea and/or conviction in this case could result in your rearrest and incarceration on your other case. Sir, do you understand the rights for which I've just advised you?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about any of those rights?
No, sir.
Ms. Martin, I believe your client has a copy of the initial hearing rights there in front of him, correct?
He does.
All right. Does he acknowledge that by signing?
Yes, we will. I don't think he can sign, but I will sign for
Okay.
him in open court.
All right. Thank you. All right, thank you. I've set an omnibus date for September 2nd, 2023. I'd like to set a pretrial on a Friday morning sometime around that date. That'd be September the 8th at 9 o'clock. I do not intend to set a trial date at today's date. I'd like to discuss that further at the September the 8th date, unless the parties are requesting a trial date at this time.
We are not, Your Honor.
State.
Not requesting such.
All right, let's have further discussion about that on September the 8th. Is everybody available for that? It's Friday morning.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
Okay.
Judge.
All right. Ms. Martin, let's take a minute and talk about your representation. Mr. Mitchell, are you asking the court to appoint counsel in this case?
Yes.
Sir, do you have appointed counsel in other matters? Ms. Martin, are you appointed in representing Mr. Mitchell in other matters?
I am, Your
All
Honor.
right, so he's previously been qualified for the appointment of counsel then?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe there's any circumstances that have changed that the court needs to be aware of that would affect the appointment of counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Martin, before I make the official appointment in this case, obviously, in light of the death penalty request, I assume you're death penalty qualified.
Yes, Your Honor, and Ray Casanova will also be on this case as well, and he is as well.
So you meet all the requirements, both of you meet all the requirements to serve as lead counsel?
We believe so. One of us certainly does, and we're checking to make sure that both of us do.
You let the court notify the court right away. For some reason that doesn't. Mr. Mitchell, do you have any questions about any of the advisement of rights, the charges, the ranges of penalties, or anything else with regard to the appointment of counsel here this morning?
No, sir.
I've entered a no-contact order in this case, prohibiting the defendant from having any contact with the decedent's family. I've entered an order setting no bond on the matter. State, is there any other matter for which you wish to be heard here this morning?
Not this morning, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Martin, anything else?
One thing, Your Honor, Judge Hagermeyer entered a finding of probable cause and issued a no bond after Marion County courts had been recused and Your Honor had accepted jurisdiction. I would move to strike that, and Your Honor has already just set no bond, so.
I was made aware of that this morning when I came in. I don't think I had entered an acceptance in the MR case yet. Yesterday it was only on the MC case because the MR case hadn't been filed. I instructed staff to prepare an acceptance for me on the MR case, and we'll get that taken care of. I did review the charges yesterday and did find probable cause on my own. I don't think that's been noted on the CCS. I grant the motion to strike the magistrate's finding of probable cause and show probable cause found by the presiding judge, and continue with the no bond order that I just ordered. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else on behalf of the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
Let's take just a couple minutes and talk about in terms of motion filing, and if you're not prepared to talk about that today, anticipating with the volume of motions to be forthcoming, that we need to have some organization beyond just the chronological filing of the motions for ease of reference. So if you have a preference that you want to discuss, state, do you have a suggestion or preference you want to run by me?
Beyond the chronological, at this time, we don't have any further suggestions, but we will
I think it
be
would be
prepared to
helpful.
talk about that at our next hearing.
All right, Ms. Martin, do you have any comments or discussion about that at this point?
I believe that we will number our pleadings, they will number theirs, and we can get together with the state to come up with a proposed scheduling order for motions, and we can have that to the court, I think, probably by the next hearing if the state thinks that's agreeable.
We're able with the state.
Just let me review my notes to make sure there's nothing else I wanted to address with the parties while you're here today. All right, Ms. Martin, anything else on behalf of the defendant then?
No, Your Honor.
All right, anything else on behalf of the state of Indiana?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, I'll see everyone back on September the 8th for pretrial at, at 9 a.m. right here in this courtroom. It's my intent to handle all matters here in this courtroom going forward, so all pretrial hearings and all other matters related to this case will be conducted here unless the court administrator here in Marion County tells me otherwise, so we'll certainly let you know that. But for people here in the audience and media purposes, we'll be conducting all matters here in this courtroom. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
All rise. You may be seated.